Hi, I'm Thom Britton. I'm with a show called FreakShow and Tell. I've subtly placed indicators around the room, and I'm a professional fire eater here in Chicago. I ordered some new fire eating toys, and so I thought it'd be fun to do an unboxing, although technically I must admit I've already opened them. So I unboxed them and then reboxed them, and here's what they look like. Oh wait, they're sealed. Oh. It's these guys right here. They're collapsible mini torches, micro torches, I don't know what you'd call them. They do this, which now I feel like I'm like, slightly different art form than what I normally do, but now they are. So you can see as a traveling fire eater how advantageous this would be to have these pack up, which is why I bought them. I'll put a link either on this video or in the description, but it's raised-in-flames.com, but they spell raised funny. It's R-A-Z-E-D, as if they've been destroyed by flames completely. Don't know if they looked up the name, but it's a very cool word, raised in flames, and so far seems like a quality product. What I'm going to do is beta test them by eating fire. My only concerns initially out of the box, it feels like fine construction, a little wobbly, but I'm not going to use them. I'm in theaters, which can mean I'm very delicately treated. So if you're a Ren Fair performer or a street performer, this may be a little wonky for you. But for me being a theater performer, I mean, I'll pack these up. I'll use them for 5 minutes a night during a 2-hour program. And then I'll go to the next city. I won't be using them 8, 10, 12 times a day. In fact, I'll be lucky to use them 8, 10, 12 times a month. The other concern I've got is, this is a collapsible torch model I made before, where I just sort of screwed one end into the other, which works fine. That's what I'm using as my main fire eating torch. But can you see the difference here? I mean, this is a considerably larger torch. I've used a variety of different sizes before in the past. I like this one the best for the bang for the buck. And it's this is the size I've been using for 17 years eating fire. Arguably, the reason they use this larger torch is because I think it's a 2-inch, I don't know if that is in centimeters, I apologize to my European friends, 2-inch torch head, the width this way, not that way, this way, supposedly improves your technique and gives you a lot more fire and then forces you to properly eat fire the way you're supposed to. Whereas with mine, the argument goes I can be sloppier and messier, which honestly I think I might like better, because I'll be completely honest with you. When I'm on stage, I'm more worried about finding my light. Is the audience reacting? Am I hitting my jokes? Am I hitting my lines? The fire eating is actually not the most important element. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. So we'll see if I like them. I need them to soak for about 5 minutes, so here's an edit while we do so. It's been, usually 5 minutes is sufficient. I'm hoping that hasn't changed with this new design. And just a quick word, if you're thinking about trying this at home, don't do that unless you're a professional fire eater. Don't order these and then use them at your house if you're not a professional fire eater. They're not terribly expensive, so the kind of thing you could impulse buy. Don't do that. You're gonna die. Is that a strong enough warning, you think? You're gonna die? Hey, you're good. I guarantee 100% if you try this stuff without a professional, you're going to die. I mentioned that because if you are watching a professional fire eater, you don't see a lot of precautions. That's just because behind the camera, I've got a fire blanket, a fire extinguisher, more importantly, a friend who's also a fire eater, playing director, videographer, general assistant for this whole thing. So it's important to have people around you who know what they're doing. Now the moment you've all been waiting for, let's light these babies up, shall we? Okay, that's about the same amount of flame as my small ones, so it's fine. Let's see if it changes the technique at all. Small problem, did you hear that? Could you hear that? See my lip? So if you let this get hot, this metal is gonna burn. It may look bad, by the way, on camera, I haven't seen it yet. It does not hurt. That edit was so I could make sure this didn't look horrific, because it didn't hurt very much, but my friend behind the camera keeps going. So you heard that? That's the metal around here. I'm gonna try and still work with them and overcome it a bit, but I think maybe we're just using a metal that might not be the right one for fire eating. That's not something that's happened very often, and so it's a word of caution. I've been debating with my friend if my perception's wrong. So what if they aren't actually the same size fire? What if in fact I am wrong and the 2-inch diameter does give you a much bigger flame? And to be honest with you, I wouldn't bet exactly that they're precisely the same size. That isn't what I'd wager. What I'd wager is that the difference in size doesn't matter. That an audience member seeing me perform with my regular torches and then seeing one of the guys who own Raised in Flames, who are also professional fire eaters, use their style torches, I don't think they would even remember the difference. That's what I'm arguing, is that it's not, who cares, is the argument. So let's see. I honestly, I mean, okay, maybe like that, there's a difference. But this, I'm going to eat the fire, do you really care? Do you really give a shit which one? I don't think you do. So just a quick wrap up and final thoughts. I like the compact size. I don't care about the 2-inch width. It didn't add anything, but it was no harder to extinguish in my mouth. And maybe their argument that it forces you to use correct technique is right. I've been a fire eater for so long, I think I can just adapt my technique. I love the compactness. I love the fact that it goes from a proper stage size so the fire is far enough away from my hand to not hurt my hand and let me really take my time on stage and milk it without worrying about my hand starting to burn or sizzle. I don't like the metal they're made out of, at least this last little bit, because it burned my lips. And I've been eating fire for a long time, longer than most people. And I might have jumped in the video or flinched a little bit, but I didn't feel it. And I can imagine someone with even less than, say, 10 years experience with fire, you might jump. And then that's not what you want the audience to think, is it? Is that part of your show, that you're hurting yourself and persevering? My show is more written to, I can do these things and they don't bother me. I'm superhuman or something like that. I don't want to bleed. I don't want to blister. I don't want to burn. I don't want to be hurt. Depends on your writing style. And then finally, I think that the style that I have with the smaller ones and this type of metal are just better for fire eating, but not nearly as pretty. I'll give you that. So if you're doing anything else, you're balancing, you're throwing them around in a stunt capacity or something, or you're twirling them, they seem well balanced. The only negative I can cite is see a little bit of wobble. If I'm a Ren Fair performer, a street performer, or anyone who needs to do 10 plus shows a day on the weekends, that scares me for longevity. But they are very cheap, so I don't know. RaisedInFlames.com, and I'll put the link below. Thank you.